You're listening to the How to Talk to Girls podcast, where you'll learn step-by-step how to meet and seduce beautiful women, whether you're looking for one night of fun, a week-long fling, or a long-term relationship. I'm your host, Trip, and the episode starts now. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the How to Talk to Girls podcast. I'm your host, Trip Kramer from tripadvice.com. You know, it's been a minute since I've really dug in and answered some questions that you have been sending in. If you don't know already, you can send in questions to trip@tripadvice.com. And the more that you give detail and the more that you let me know in terms of what's going on with your situation, the better I can help you and better I can answer your question. And so I've picked out a bunch of questions. I will not be able to get to all of them today, but a bunch that are really good. They're different. You can call in 323-432-0025 and you can actually leave a voicemail and I'll put it here on the podcast and answer your question. So lots of options for you. And also, if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, if you're interested in doing some sort of coaching, which is available to you at coachedbytrip.com, you can also do that. You can apply for coaching at that website, coachedbytrip.com. All you have to do is fill out the form, and then you and I will get on the phone and we'll talk about coaching. I'll give you all the details in terms of how it works. We'll go into the different packages that I offer and the different ways that we can get you quick results in your dating life. So whether it is that you want to work on online dating or meeting women in person, or right now, since I know that's not happening as much, just working more and getting virtual dates, we can work on that. There is no end to the work that we can do together to make you more confident, to make you have an active dating life and actually get you a girlfriend. I know it sounds kind of crazy, a little far-fetched, but I work with guys all the time and we're taking them very far in their coaching, helping them with women and understanding exactly what to do to get them interested and really building a skill set to get more women attracted to you. Sounds easier than it is, but I make sure to make it easy for you when you and I work together. All right, let's get into some good questions today. Let's do it. So here is one from Evan. Hey, Trip, I've just listened to episode 348, 3 Signs You're a Man-Child. I do remember that one. That's sort of recent. And I'm trying to mull something over from the episode, the concept of the growth mindset. I just got out of a relationship that I thought was going very well. I really liked this woman, and it caught me by surprise when she ended it out of the blue for what she claims was personal reasons. I've been wanting to meet to have a discussion and to get to the bottom of it. I believe that in order to grow and learn from failures, it is better to find closure in the truth than simply move on, especially if that leads to number 3, playing the victim. However, she has been unwilling to do this, and I worry that I cannot gain closure the way I'd like to, leading me to think that I'm going to become this bitter man-child and think that this is not my fault. In this episode, you talk about putting in the work, growing and learning. I've been trying to learn how this issue is traced back to me or how I contributed to her decision to end the relationship. Nope, she said it wasn't anything I did. I said/did or didn't do. I want to move forward with my life, but I can't help but wonder how or why this relationship ended and if I should be blaming her or myself. My question right now is, how does someone in my predicament go about trying to find some kind of balance between learning the answers don't want to present themselves? Between learning when the answers don't want to present themselves. I really could use your advice. Thanks, Evan. Evan, this is a great question. And here's the thing. I think that you might be obsessing just a little bit, okay? So here's what I tell guys that I work with in the coaching program, because I have guys that, go on a few dates with a girl, maybe even like yourself, get into a relationship, and then all of a sudden it just ends and you don't know why, okay? Well, let's go through this one by one. First of all, I'm very proud that you are not playing the victim and that you're trying to figure out what it is that you did wrong. Your determination to figure out is fantastic. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing, I want to say, whatever she says here, she said it wasn't anything that you said or something that you did or didn't do. It has nothing to do with you. The thing is that it does. Now, here's the good news. The good news is it's not necessarily something that you did or didn't do. Like she said, I do believe her, but she clearly lost attraction for you. So it's not like you did something or did one thing or there was some sort of event that caused her to do this. She probably just fell out of love or lost the feelings for you. So I know it's difficult because one, you want to learn so you can do better next time. And two, you just want to figure out like what the hell happened. This is crazy. But sometimes you're not going to get the answers and you need to be okay with that. And so there's nothing that you can do specifically that is going to fix the next time around because you don't know. But what you need to do is you need to move on from this as fast as you can and start dating other women and just take a look at yourself and just look at yourself in terms of through the filter or lens of understanding attraction. So if you don't have my book or my program Hooked, you should check those out because that's going to teach you about attraction. And then you can kind of go, oh, wait a minute. I think this is where I screwed up in the relationship itself. So you might not get the answers from her, but you might be able to actually dig in and look with as much of a objective eye as possible and just go, you know what? There is probably where, it lost or it went away. And I'm not saying that this is something that you did wrong. Like, oh no, I did this and I lost attraction. It was inevitable. It was going to happen anyways. And either way, this is the course and path of your life to go through these to find the one that's going to be, even better than this one. And when I say the one, I don't mean the one, like the unicorn. I just mean the one that you're going to end up being with for a longer time. Okay. So you got to stop obsessing over this. You got to just kind of figure, okay, there's something that just didn't click with us or connect with us. And you just have to move on as fast as you can. The more that you sit here and try to figure it out, the more you're just wasting time. And that's going to hurt you more than it is help you. So with the fact that she won't talk to you, she's unwilling to sit down with you, that this means that she's not interested anymore and that she really just wants you to go away, basically. I know I'm not saying that's soft, but that's just the truth. And so you need to continue to just move on and forget it. So your question here is, how does someone in my predicament go about trying to find some kind of balance between learning when the answers don't want to present themselves? The thing is this, you give it your best shot. You say, okay, let me try to talk to the girl or send a text and just figure out maybe what I did wrong or what went wrong, not what you did wrong, but what went wrong, and see if you can get an answer. And maybe there was something. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, oh, it's not you, it's me, or you did nothing wrong, or I'm just not in this mindset, or I don't know, I just, lost it, or there's things I need to figure out in my life and da. And you know what? That's it. You tried, you give it your best shot. Now you move on. And like I said, look through the lens of how attraction works and see if there's anything you did that didn't work there. That's it. That's all you could do. I don't want you to sit here and obsess. And the more you do, the more you're going to reinforce this kind of scarcity mindset. The scarcity mindset that says, oh, there's this one person and this one person. I got to figure out what happened with this one person. No, move on. Adopt the abundant mindset. At least step into it for now so you can go out there and continue to meet other women. So, Evan, that's what I say to you. Move on fast. Don't worry about it. Don't get all caught up in it. Figure out what you did wrong by yourself, but don't even spend too much time doing that. And go after other women who are going to appreciate you and like you and be attracted to you. This is from Damien. Hey, Trip, my name is Damien. I have 2 questions. 1, I work at a casino as a dealer, and as a result, I'm not big on bars or drinking at all. My question is, do you have any suggestions for places to meet and attract women outside of a nightlife type environment? Yes. First of all, Damien, I can totally understand that working at a casino is probably just like, you're just over it, right? You're sick of it. Like you're done with it. Well, yes, I can totally help you out here. There are definitely places to meet women outside of a nightlife environment. There are plenty of places. Just think, where do women go? Think, where are they in your town? Think about malls. Think about shops. Think about outdoor malls or ped malls. Think where there's heavy foot traffic in your area, downtown areas. Think meeting women at your hobbies. Think meeting women at events or parties or things going on. Of course, I know you don't want nightlife, but sometimes there's just some parties going on or day events or things like that. Think about where women are located in your town. Just think about it for a second. You'll be able to figure it out pretty fast. But there's lots of opportunities to meet women during the day. Think grocery stores. think farmers markets when it's nicer outside. I know that people are not really meeting women right now because of the release of when this podcast is, but I know that eventually people will be listening to this down the line. So, yes, there are plenty of places to meet women outside during the day. And I just listed pretty much all of them, but they're around. And that's a great place to meet women and doing approaching and things like that. Let's go to your second question. You said, I've noticed when you talk about asking women on a date or for their phone number, your advice is to do so when the interaction is at its highest point. However, sometimes I meet women at work or in public, and the interaction doesn't last very long, but there are signs of potential chemistry, and I want to talk to them more. In that situation, do you have any advice for a way to ask for the girl's information without coming off as creepy or overeager? I appreciate what you do and hope to hear back. Thank you. Okay. So, yes. So, first of all, understand that you should not be meeting women at work. Bad place. Unless you mean while you're working, that might be a different story, but also maybe not the best idea. Wouldn't want to get you fired if a woman complains that you've been hitting on them and you're working. So I would just stay away from any kind of work interaction. Don't meet women while you're working, whether they work with you or don't work with you. Now, in public, if the interaction doesn't last very long, you don't know if you're going to see them again. So you should just go for their number, even if it's very short. This is a great question, by the way, because I know that happens a lot. You might meet a woman, interaction lasts maybe a couple minutes, but then they have to go or you have to go or something happens. What do? Well, you might not see them again, and don't count on it because most of the time you don't. So I would say to her, hey, listen, actually, I should grab your number and we should hang out sometime. That's it. Just go for the close in almost the same exact way that you would if you were having a 20-minute conversation. We should hang out sometime. Let me grab your number. Boom. That's it. That's what I want you to do. So make sure that you do that. A lot of guys are really in their head and a little bit nervous to do that, but just go for it because you're going to kick yourself if you didn't, and you never know. She might say yes, and then boom, you got a date. Okay? Hope that helps. Hope that helps, Damien. Let's keep rolling. Let's go to the next one. Hey, Trip, I'm over 18. I've been listening to your podcast on Spotify for a few months now, and it has accelerated my dating life a ton. I went from 1 or 2 approaches a week to the same amount per day, with about 2/3 ending up in dates. Well, look at that. Look at that, Charles. That's amazing. I hope that has motivation for you guys out there. He says, now that I've become comfortable with asking girls out, I've been able to choose who I want to continue dating. My question is, how do I say I'm not interested after the first date without looking like a jerk? I've never been the type to do it over text. So if you have any pointers on how to do it in person respectfully, that would be great. Great fan, Charles. Cool. So, all right. How to do it in person is the same way you would do it if you were doing it over text. You just say it like this. And you can do this word for word or you can kind of play around with it. But here's the basic idea. You say to her, hey, name, I just want to say it was great hanging out with you, but I didn't feel the connection that I was hoping for. Okay, I'm going to repeat that, by the way. I just didn't feel the connection I was hoping for, which is true. It's a true statement. So you just weren't feeling the connection. You don't feel it there. You're not going to say attraction because that's going to make you sound like you're just thinking that she's ugly, which is not something someone wants to hear, right? So you can say, hey, I just want you to know I wasn't, getting the connection or receiving the connection or feeling the connection. I'd say feeling is probably better. Feeling the connection I was hoping for. It was very nice to meet you, however, and I wish you luck with everything. I hope you find someone awesome out there. Just like that. Doesn't have to be specific. You don't have to tell her why. You don't have to say what you didn't like about her, what you did like about her. Just simple. By the way, I'm not making this up like, oh, you should just say this. I've used this before and it works well. I've never gotten a negative reaction. Every single time the girl says something like, oh, you too, or thanks for letting me know. It's basically anti-ghosting. It's the opposite of ghosting. It's letting them know that you're not interested anymore. And you're going to let them know and you're going to be honest about it. Yeah, they're not going to feel good after it. No one wants to reject someone and no one likes to feel rejected, so to speak. But it makes them feel at least they can put closure on it and move on and gives them an idea that there is a decent guy out there, right? You're a decent guy by saying that. And I think that's a good thing to do. And that just hopefully makes it pay it forward and other people will do that too. I'd hope that you as a guy who's listening right now would appreciate getting that instead of never hearing from a girl again or wondering what happened. Right? Even though it's kind of vague and a little bit bullshitty, like, no, there's a reason why you didn't feel the connection, but it's not important. So just say, yeah, I just didn't feel the connection. And, I wish you luck and hope for the best. So that's it. Say that and put it out there and it works. It works. Women will respond well to it, and then you can move on. All right, let's go to Drew. Hi, Trip. I have a question for you. There's this girl, Marissa, that I like. We have been friends for over 2 years. She's been in and out of a relationship and with her ex-boyfriend, but things have finally got settled and they are just friends at this point. I've helped her through this by talking to her and giving her some advice. The problem I'm having now is I've been attracted to her for a while, and she knows that. We're going to talk on Wednesday about it face to face. I know this is a few weeks ago, so I'm sorry about that, but he says, is there anything special I should say or do to make her want to go out with me, forget about her ex? There's nothing you can say or do. There's nothing really that you can do to convince a woman. You have to understand that you can't convince someone to be attracted to you or to like you. At this point, you're just in the friend zone. So what you have to do is you have to ask her out. So ask her to grab a drink with you, ask her to get some coffee with you. And then you want to use tension, entertainment, and dominance, which is what I teach in my Hooked program, but I also teach that in coaching as well. Be able to use tension and entertainment and dominance to be able to lead the interaction to build attraction and get her invested in you. And be more of a challenge. The whole thing is here is you have not been a challenge. You have been a guy who has been there for her through everything. You have just been the best friend type. You've been acting like a friend, so she only sees you like a friend. And you've been inherently needy because you've been around her and helping her with whatever that she needs. And it's all been about her and not been about you. And you're trying to do things for her to show her that you like her, but that doesn't work. And being there and trying to help her get over her ex, that doesn't make her like you. It actually makes her like you less because it's showing that you don't have any other options. You don't have any other women around. And really one of the things that creates attraction is having other options and having women around. Because you don't, it's not attractive and it doesn't show that you are pre-selected by other women. So while we can go much deeper into this concept, I think you understand at least the basics of what I'm saying here is that there's nothing you can do. And I'm sorry, Drew, that this has happened to you, but take this to a lesson. Don't ever be a girl's friend. You should always be trying to use attraction in terms of building attraction with the women that you're with. And it's not going to be by just hanging around them and helping them with their ex or helping them with their problems or helping them with anything else. That's what friends do. That's what's called orbiters do, right? Guys who just kind of hang around women until they're free and ready to, like them or be in a relationship with them. So you don't want to be that guy. That's unattractive. So Drew, hard lesson, move on from this, be done with this. Don't try anymore. If anything, your best chance of getting this is to completely leave her, let her be, move on, find another woman until she probably comes crawling back to you. And then you have a chance there to get her attracted. But this is not a friendship. This is one-sided, strange situation happening with you liking her, her not liking you. So at this point, I would just consider it over and please move on. Hi, Trip. My name is Kassam, and I'm a fan of yours from Palestine. I just purchased your Hooked program, which I'll watch this weekend. Thanks for all the advice you give on YouTube and in your podcast. It's really useful. You cannot imagine the difference it made for me. Sincerely, thanks. You're welcome, Kassam. He says, I have a question. How can you get a girl to meet up with you when your only contact with her has been over text? Like a girl that you know back from college, and now you talk to her on social media or you saw her at some social event. You know who she is. She knows who you are. Maybe you talked briefly, but you didn't flirt and you didn't get her number. And now you talk over Messenger, for example. Since you say that attraction needs to be built first and that it can't be built over text, can I just ask her out? I think it might be worthy making a video on that. Thanks again for everything, Kassam. Great question. Great question. I do get this quite a bit and I'm happy to answer this. So yes, you can ask her out. The thing is you don't need to have built attraction beforehand to ask her out. You can still do that now. Just understand that the odds of you getting the meetup is just going to be very low because she has not experienced you in person enough to be invested in you and to feel attracted to you. However, you never know. She might be somewhat curious, maybe somewhat interested. She might just be bored. So she might say yes. So you need to throw it out there. There's no other way to do it, right? It's kind of logical in this sense. Is there's nothing else you can do. You're not going to stalk her, obviously, and just randomly run into her one day. No, so you ask her out. You just ask her to grab a drink with you or a cup of coffee. I would say just a cup of coffee because it seems more casual. And so it might be a little bit of easing your way into it. I'm not saying try to be her friend or act like a friend. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying go into this and act like you're trying to be a friend, but it still is a little bit more of a looser situation to go for maybe a cup of coffee. Either way, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Just that or a drink. Just ask her out. That's what's most important. Yes, ask her out. So just say, hey, let's grab a coffee sometime. Let's grab a drink sometime. It'd be cool to continue to get to know you, or it'd be fun to continue to talk to you. That's it. That's all you got to do. Try that and move in for it. If you're already talking to her on Messenger, you guys already have some sort of relationship going. When I say relationship, I just mean you guys are communicating. There's something being created here, some sort of ship being created. Hopefully not a friendship, hopefully a relationship, but something's being created. So yeah, just ask her out, ask her to hang out, and then boom, from there on, tension, entertainment, dominance. Do what you got to do, build attraction, see if it works. Dominance, move it forward, ask her on another date, go for the kiss, move it forward. That's all I have to say about that. That's that simple. Go for it. Let's do another one. Hello, Trip. Love the show. It has really changed my perspective about myself and women. I'm 24 years old and just got out of a 6-year relationship with my high school sweetheart. We have a child together, so it was very tough on me, but I'm starting to get over it and have an abundance mindset. I know I'm attractive, but as I approach and talk to women, I'm starting to assume they have an abundance mindset as well. Yes, a lot of women do. They have a lot of options. He says, I know generally it can be a turnoff if someone has a child from a previous relationship, but with me being young, I think it affects me more because chances are 9 out of 10, 24 years old, don't have children. The thing is, I also think it's a turnoff and I wouldn't want to date a woman if they had a child. How should I approach the situation? Thanks, Trip Anonymous. Okay, so here's the thing. You're going to have to just live in reality. And the reality is you have a kid. And the more that you care about it and the more that you think, you know what, like this is crazy. I have a kid. No girl's going to like me. I wouldn't like a girl if she had a kid. The more you think negatively about it and don't love that you have a child, and I'm sure you do on some sense, but really you clearly are saying that you don't love the situation you're in. You got to change this mindset to the fact that you do like it and you're confident about it. Because if you go into it, you're not going to be able to lie, right? So you can't lie to her and trick a girl and then date 3, go, by the way, I have a kid. She's going to be like, what the fuck? How did I not hear that from you already? So you have to be able to own it. And I would tell her on a first date. You don't need to tell her on the initial approach or anything like that. Or you don't need to tell her necessarily on online dating, but tell her on the first date, after you guys have, been through about the first half of the date, and let her know. And then she can decide from there. Now, listen, I'm not going to lie, Anonymous. You are going to get rejected. You are. I can't, sit here and sugarcoat it for you. You're going to get more rejections than the average guy just because there might be women out there who don't want to be with someone who has a kid because they want to be with someone who they can have a kid with. But here's the good news. That doesn't mean that's everybody. Some women will totally fall for you if you're a super attractive, and I don't mean good looking in physical terms, but you know how to build attraction kind of guy. If that happens, they will backwards rationalize why it's okay to be with you because they have found themselves attracted to you. So you're really going to have to up your game here and learn exactly what it is to make you your most attractive self so that when a woman hears that you have a kid, she's not going to care as much. And that's all you could do. But the worst thing you could do is feel negative about it, kind of like admit it to her out of, guilt. Like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I know this is not like ideal, but I do want to tell you that like I have a kid and this is something that I'm dealing with. And no, just be excited about it. Just say, hey, I want to be, upfront with you and let you know I do have a kid. He or she is the most adorable thing in the world. You want to see a picture? Be excited about it because that energy will transfer over to the other person. They're going to feel crappy about it if you do. So don't think about it as a burden, even though it might be. Switch your mindset and put the love into it. And I'm sure and I hope you love your child. So be excited about that and hope that the woman that comes along that you really like will be someone that accepts that and that is totally cool with that, just like you are. But again, you'll end up attracting women who are not if you aren't yourself interested in the fact that you have a child. So make sure that you really, really, really love it. All right. Here's the last question of today. Hey, Trip, if you remember, you and I spoke recently about coaching and we decided coaching was not a good fit at this time. Yes, Rob, I do remember that. And I remember this is something that you were not able to invest in as you did not have the funds. And he says here, I plan on purchasing Get Her Hooked soon when I can spring for it. But in the meantime, I have a question about girls who are open to approach. Context, I'm a 37, a virgin, never had a girlfriend. Since we spoke, I've gone out to the bar club scene several times, trying to increase my number of rejections I get too quickly, which I did get a couple since it is a numbers game. My recent problem is I just haven't seen too many girls who seem like they're open to approach. Most of them are pretty occupied, either they're with a guy, huddled with their girlfriends for a ladies' night, not displaying indicators of interest, no smiles or maintained eye contact, seem like they're just there to dance or otherwise. The only girls I seem to run across who are relatively unoccupied and perhaps, but probably not open to approach are girls who are working at their jobs. Been there, tried that. My question is there any way to sort of create, for lack of a better word, girls who are open to approach, girls who are previously otherwise shut down, or create scenarios for yourself with girls who are now open to approach? Thanks, man. I hope my question makes sense and hope to hear your suggestions on a future episode someday. Cheers, Rob. Rob, this is something we would have totally worked on in coaching, but let me help you right now. So here's what I would have said to you on our coaching program. This would have been the first session we would have had. I would have said, there is no creating scenarios. Okay. This is the good news, by the way. I don't want anyone to be discouraged by this. Okay. It's not about creating scenarios. Think about it this way. Really, no woman is open to be approached. Yes, I guess some women at the bar are going there specifically and make their body language open because they really want a guy to come and approach them. I mean, that's maybe about, 15% of the women out there. I'm talking about in any scene, whether it's nightclubs, bars, whether it's during the day, whatever. Don't think that a woman is just ready to be open, which means that you need to be the one to create the scenario, okay? I'm not saying that she's not open to meeting you. All women who are single want to meet a guy and they're open to meeting you, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be creating ways to do it. The reason why you're doing this, and a lot of other guys are doing it, is because you're trying not to get rejected. See, that is the mindset of a guy who's trying not to get rejected. The guy who's sitting there going, what can I do to make sure I can go to a woman who's actually interested in talking so I don't get rejected? There's no way of doing that. And plus, your numbers are going to significantly decrease if you're looking to or trying to strategize for women who are just open to meeting, okay? So my point here is you need to approach everyone. Every girl is already open to approach. Okay, so they might reject you. Okay, so one might have a boyfriend, might be married, one might be having a bad day or whatever. Of course, you're not going to be approaching women who are with guys and it's pretty obvious through all the touching that it's a guy that they're dating or it's their boyfriend. Like that is the exception. Like we're not going to approach those women. But still you could, because you never know, could be their friend. But when it's obvious it's their boyfriend, no. All you got to do is go up to the woman that you're interested in, whether she's huddled or with a bunch of people, and just approach her and just say, hey, I'm Rob. I wanted to come meet you. That's it. Don't think about this as trying to avoid rejection. Never, ever, ever try to avoid rejection. I'm going to say this again. Everyone who is listening to this right now, don't try to avoid rejection. That is going to make you worse at this process. If you're trying to avoid rejection, that means you're trying to be too careful, which means you're not going to fully put yourself out there, which means you might get rejected anyways. And also you're not going to open up enough numbers in terms of people to approach, to talk to make it work. You need the numbers. You need more and more people to approach. So approach anyone and everyone that you are interested in, okay? Don't do it when, they're working. Don't do it when you're working. Do it when you're just out and about or at a club or during the day or wherever, and just approach the women that you're interested in. That's it. Don't try to create any scenarios. This might be the reason, Rob, and I'm just hitting you with truth right now, okay? This might be the reason why you might still be a virgin and never had a girlfriend, is because you don't have those numbers, because you haven't gone out there and really tried to do the approaches, and you're looking and trying to be careful so you maintain this, and I put in air quotes, perfect score of approaches. There is no perfect score. You need to fail. You need to get rejected. You need to get shut down. You need to get embarrassed. You need to feel anxiety. You need to go through all this and all the hardship to then come out clean on the other side. So it's very important that you don't try to calibrate, let's say, before opening the situation. Do it after, meaning go and approach anyone you want. And then afterwards, you can just maintain conversation and adapt to the situation at hand, depending on who they're with or what's going on. Don't try to do it before, because you might lose out on a lot of great women who do want to meet you, even though they're not smiling or giving you on eye contact, etc. I sure hope that helps you. I hope that gives you an answer of what to do. Don't forget, if you're looking for one-on-one coaching with me, and we do that over the phone or in person, just go to coachedbytrip.com today, fill out an application, and then you and I can hop on the phone and see if coaching is a good fit for you. We do weekly calls. You get unlimited texting with me, so we can help you get to the point where you're attracting women online, attracting women in person when it's safe to do so, and really having the active dating life that you want, that you deserve. I've been able to perform miracles with some guys who thought they could never attract a girl if their life depended on it. So I know that I can help you. Go right now, coachedbytrip.com, and I look forward to talking to you on the next episode.